In 1969, Grebe and Marianne met each other at a country club in the Hamptons. A couple years later, they were married and moved to the suburbs with hopes to start a family. They had 2 daughters, Cassie and Grace. Their whole lives, Marianne and Grebe told everybody that Grace was their adopted daughter from Venezuela. Grace has always felt jealous of Cassie because of the fact that she was adopted and Grace had very pale legs compared to Cassie. Katie and Tiffany were married in 2014 but have been together since the 80s. Katie had 1 child from a spicy night out in Miami named Juanma. Tiffany also had a wild night while on spring break where she proceeded to vomit on her lover, but 9 months later she had a child named Andres. Andres and Cassie met and were married in 2018. Marianne left a will that said, "If I predecease my husband Grebe, I own no property, so my assets include my $500,000 watch and $1 million scooter, which I leave 75% to my daughter Cassie, 10% to my adopted daughter Grace, and 15% to my husband Grebe." Tragically, both Marianne and Grebe died the day the will was proved to be valid and finalized. Grebe was able to ascend. Grace and Juanma were married in 2018. Right to work and had their 2 children, Erica and Jacqueline. One day, Cassie and Juanma decided to go out for drinks, but a couple tequila shots and 3 weeks later, Cassie found out she was pregnant. This same time, Cassie and Andres had been trying to have a baby. Cassie spoke to Juanma about this, and he didn't give much attention to the situation. Andres found out he was going to be a father and was ecstatic. Andres raised Juanma and Cassie's child, Mia, as his own since he had no idea it wasn't his child. Katie died but forgot to make a will and had no assets to give out anyways. Juanma got bored once again and decided to go out for some drinks with a random girl from Tinder. 9 months after that, this random hoe gave birth to Juanma's second secret child, Andrew, except this time Juanma didn't know that Andrew even existed. Oh my gosh, Juanma was out living his best life. His job was going great and even had numerous assets. Juan had a tenancy in the entirety with Grace in Fort Lauderdale, a modern condo in South Beach where he would take his late-night bar babes, and a new Ferrari. In 2030, Erica married Amanda. That same year, Jacqueline also married Angle. In 2032, Andrew got a little crazy in the club and had a child named Santi. 2033 was a year of revelations for everyone. Grace was so focused on the fact that her and Cassie looked so similar that she decided to go behind her parents' wishes when they were living and get a DNA test done. Cassie and Grace were sisters, so Grace was never really adopted. This angered Grace as she came to realize that she was given half as much money as Cassie was given in Marianne's will due to the fact that she was not Marianne and Grebe's biological child. Grace was also suspicious about Juanma's numerous trips to bars, so she decided to check his phone, where the most recent text was from her real sister, Cassie. "Hey, wanna come over and spend time with Mia since you're actually her dad?" Grace was shook. She picked up the phone and hired her daughter, Erica, and her wife, Amanda, who happened to be hitmen. She told them if they could go find Juan and get him. She also said she wouldn't mind if they took out Mia and Cassie along the way. As Amanda is a little bit incompetent, she mistakenly took Andres for Cassie and killed Andres. She went to the bar to think about what she just did, and Juanma actually happened to be there, so she killed him to make up for her mistake. Erica was supposed to be waiting by the car with the body bag, but she actually drove off and abandoned Amanda at the scene. Tiffany was distraught about her son's death, and she went to court and asked for multiple DNA tests to be done. Tiffany found out that Mia was actually not her real granddaughter, but a bastard child. The press was beginning to find out all of this information. Andrew heard about this in the press, and he had a feeling that Juanma could have been his father. So he went to a judge and he asked if he can get a DNA test done to prove that Juanma was his dad. The court allowed it, and it was true. Juanma had actually written a holographic will where he left everything to be equally distributed to his wife Grace and 2 daughters, Erica and Jacqueline. Juan also stated that he wanted to leave his least favorite barbecue sauce to his son-in-law, Angle. After Juanma's death, an old trust came about where he had actually left his South Beach Barbie condo to his daughter Mia to have as a way of showing that he was still her father and cared for her in a way. What are possible outcomes for the distributions of these multiple assets in this scenario?